Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So today we got to talk about the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks, and we all looking forward to this series. It's a rivalry. You look back, a lot of people think about the Reggie Miller choking sign that he held up to Spike Lee when they blew that lead, and Reggie Miller went on a rampage late in the game. One of the most iconic moments in NBA history. It's one of the images that you will continue to see forever. And they play game one tonight. Now, it's a lot of stories surrounding this series. We've seen Tyrese Haliburton. They were saying if he's going to go, if he's not going to go in game one because of back spasms. And, a lot has been made about Indiana's depth. And, they do have a lot of firepower on the offensive end of the floor. One of their Achilles heels is not being a good rebounding team, and the Knicks are great at second chance opportunities. So we're going to listen to Monica McNutt. And before I get to her, I want to say a couple things. I remember, some of those regular season competitions where even the one that the Pacers lost, that first one they lost, uh, after all the guys had went down for the Knicks, after Jew had went down, after OG had went down, and I think they were down to like Jericho Sims at the five, and I think even after that he went down. So for a little bit of the time, I believe Precious was playing the five, and they played the Indiana Pacers in some of those matchups. So they didn't have any of their bigs in the one that they won, where Jalen Brunson went crazy from the field, and also the one that they lost where they just didn't have the firepower to match them that day, and Haliburton was hitting threes and all that. But it's going to be an interesting matchup, and it's a lot. You look at the rotations potentially. This will be more of a series for Precious Achua to get more time. You think about his time in Toronto. Him and OG will probably share the assignment of Pascal Siakam, who's been their best player in the postseason. Now, what I will say is maybe they play together a little bit more because I know they may try to elect to put OG on Tyrese Halliburton at times, just to block his vision, get long, lengthy athletes out in front of him. But we're going to see how that work out. Let's listen to what Monica McNutt had to say. Let's peep.
Game day. Second round. Game one. What do we need to talk about, fams? What do we need to talk about, Knicks fans? Talk to me. Okay, I'm gonna answer this before I chew this pickle because it's crunchy and delicious. I think yes, because I think the thing that we sometimes overlook in the conversation about rotations, when it comes to Tibbs at least, he's very keen on matching the other team's rotation. And the Sixers went like 7.5, maybe 8. Like Buddy Hield obviously had the great first half in the last game, game 6. But like the Sixers rotation wasn't that deep either. Now you got the Pacers, who will run 10, who I think led the regular season in bench points at 48, and in the postseason are leading the way with 30. And this is a matchup for Precious Achua, right? So yes, I do think based on the matchups, Tibbs is more inclined to open his rotation. But are the 7 that well conditioned? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I think he'll open the rotations.
Very much agree. I fully expect him to play in game one. I don't care what they put out about injuries. He's had a great season. Not a terrific defender. Knicks, JV, Dante DiVincenzo, whoever. Need to put him in the mixer. Mouse and house, target, whatever you want to call it. Let it rock. I agree with this.
Okay, so getting my makeup done. Say hi to my makeup artist. Hi, Laura. Super cute. Okay, so I personally think the matchup is going to be OG and Siakam. I think, y'all know Dante DiVincenzo asked to defend Tyrese Haliburton in Game 6. And he told us post-game that the reason that he had a better offensive performance was because he focused on defense and was able to lock in. So it would not surprise me if he starts with Haliburton. But of course, y'all know Tibbs is all about team defense, so it's going to be a total team effort, TTE. But I think OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam are the matchup to start, and I think that will be, I don't think it's going to be the most important matchup, but I think that's going to be huge.
I was in Indiana for game 3. They have talked candidly about their team arriving ahead of schedule and Pascal Siakam being the only guy with experience, only player with experience this deep. Of course, Carlisle has one. So there's that.
So you hear Monica McNutt talk about that, the OG Siakam matchup, which they've matched up several times in practice in Toronto. You think about Precious Achua, you throw him in that mix as well. Matching up with those guys in practice and having some spirited practices with those guys. So it's going to be a good matchup, but you also look at OG Anunoby and the potential of putting him as a long, lengthy defender in front of Tyrese Haliburton. You kind of want to try to turn him into a scorer instead of a passer because he feeds off of great passes, and the team really feeds off of the way that he's able to make plays for others, and that's when they really get up and down and speed you up to try to keep up and calm that crowd down, especially on the road, but they try to get you with tempo, the fastest tempo team in the league. You look at Jalen Brunson, he can slow the game down, and he's an opportunistic runner as far as getting up and down, but he really controls the game, and his guys feed off of him. Now as far as that tempo goes, you look at Indiana, and they want to play fast, but you got the Knicks, who's great at second chance opportunities. So one of the things they're going to have to do is make their shots, especially in the half court set. Because the Knicks, if you're not crashing the glass, the Knicks are going to take advantage of that. And you look at why the Knicks are so good at that, look no further than the amount of paint points that Jalen Brunson gets despite being only 6'1", 6'2". You look at how he lives in there, the way the defenses converge. So you're going to have somebody like Miles Turner ending up playing up a little farther than they want to. You may get some lobs from Mitch, some floaters from Hartenstein. And all of this is going to be orchestrated because of Jalen Brunson. I know they're talking about putting Andrew Nembhard. I mean, not Andrew Nembhard, but he'll spend some time on him too. But what's the other guy name I'm thinking about? Aaron Neesmith, who's a good, catch shooter as well. But he's going to chase him around. Now, I heard Monica say that, and we know she was talking about Tyrese Maxey when she was giving that example, but she made a mistake and said Tyrese Haliburton when Dante DiVincenzo asked to guard him in game 6. And he did a phenomenal job. He was able to chase him around, get him out of sorts early, and he never really got going, in that game. Ended up producing some late, but Dante was really in his space fighting through screens, and ironically, it got his offensive game going. So he may start out on Halliburton because he is looking to make even the catches tough for these guys. And so I would think he's going to do that. And I think Josh Hart may do that, but they also like for Josh Hart to be in a position to roam on, for rebounds because that's just what he does. So you don't necessarily want him chasing Tyrese Halliburton around too much on the perimeter because he is one of the key players for their second chance opportunities. And, I just look at the way that the Knicks compete and the way that they're able to play. I think they may be favored somewhat in this series, although you can't ignore that Indiana has more offensive firepower in theory, right? If they're just getting up and down and the game is played at a faster pace, you would think that would favor them because Pascal Siakam has pretty much every shot that you can ask for a power forward to have on the offensive end of the floor. He's not a great rebounder, but he did rebound pretty good in the last series. But as far as his offense, he can face you up, he can post you up, shoot it out to the 3-point line. A good passer knows when to pass out the post. I mean, he has all the offense you can ask for from a four-man. He can even score like a three at times. So that's what makes him somewhat of a tricky matchup. But they do have one player in OG Anunoby that would be ideal for defending that type of player. But Pascal is one of those guys who can make shots with great defense routinely. So that's going to be a challenge for them. But again, I think they're going to use Precious and OG Anunoby to guard him. But I also think OG will spend some time on Haliburton as well. I think they're going to throw different defenders at him because Haliburton is one of those guards you would like to see score 25 points and only have 2 or 3 assists. Because then you got him out of sorts and you got him out of the nature of how he wants to approach the basketball game. And that means he's not getting his teammates involved in the same way. And that is what Indiana feeds off of, especially those guys who are dependent on him getting them good looks for open 3-point shots. But Indiana is tricky at times because at times, Nimhart plays better than Haliburton. And at other times, TJ McConnell can be the best point guard on the floor for them. So um, that's the one thing, Deuce is gonna have to bring it. But as far as like a true point guard set you up, they have a few of those because Nimhard can do it, McConnell can do it, Halliburton can do it, but Brunson is the only point guard on the team. But with the way that the Knicks are constructed, he has to be aggressive on offense. But I think he did a good job as the series progressed against the Sixers of picking his spots and not being overly aggressive on offense and knowing when to take over down the stretch. He found that balance. I didn't even want to say midway through that series. I think he really found that balance when he found his offense in game 3. So even though they lost that game in Philly, I think that's where he started finding it. I was like, oh yeah, Brunson, he done figured them out. And I think people are talking about Nimhart's defense, but I do think at times Batum's defense was much superior to what Nimhart's going to be able to offer. I think just being a savvy veteran, knowing how to grab the jersey, contesting the shots, Kelly Oubre's length, even though he wasn't as disciplined, I do think what he saw against Philly, I don't think he will see in this series. I don't think they have the personnel to make it as hard. Now, you could get scrappy with them like McConnell, but I think Brunson takes that into the post and kind of has his way offensively. What you can hope is that you guard him really good and that he missed shots, but I don't know, man. I think the Knicks just having that rebounding and having that to hang their hat on. I think um, yeah, they got the home court advantage. I would pick them to win this series, but you can't underestimate the fact that Indiana has the most firepower on offense in this series. So we're gonna see how this goes, man. We're gonna see how it goes. I seen Draymond and a few others saying that Brunson can't lead the team to the promised land, as if LeBron in his prime would take this Knicks team as currently constructed to the NBA Finals. I mean, well, not to the finals. I think LeBron could do that, but he wouldn't win the championship with this team. So I don't know why the narratives are being painted about Jalen Brunson this way, um, because he's a breakout star, and it's just like I don't know, man. I don't know why the people on NBA, not yeah NBA Today or NBA Countdown has just been kind of slow to give Jalen Brunson his props. We're watching it happen in real time and now it's in the postseason, and you still don't want to give a guy props, man. But let me know how you guys feel about this series. I'm looking forward to it. The legend should be in the house. We should see Reggie Miller and Spike Lee reunited at some point. So I'm all for it, man. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.